Let's face it, having your child wake you up before 7 a.m. or if 6 a.m. is your preference is a little bit like torture. So today we're going to talk about early mornings and how to avoid them so you are actually waking your child up when you want it to be morning instead of the other way around. So if we haven't met before, hi, I'm Jensine. I'm a certified pediatric sleep consultant. I have a master's degree in early childhood education, and I bring the science behind sleep with real life strategies to pair them together and get you the best sleep possible. So early mornings, they're definitely not something that is uncommon. A lot of children wake up early in the morning and have a hard time getting back to sleep. And there are multiple reasons that could happen. It could be that they're overtired at bedtime, that they're falling asleep too soon at bedtime. Maybe the bedtime timing isn't correct for them. Maybe they didn't have enough of a wake window before they went to bed. Maybe they don't know how to fall asleep independently and they need a lot of help at bedtime. So they wake up in the early morning hours without that sleep pressure. They can't figure out how to get themselves back to sleep. There are so many reasons for early morning wake ups. But today we're not going to focus on why, we're going to focus on what to do. So the first thing we need to determine is this actually an early morning wake up, depending on your child's bedtime? I've had a lot of clients that have told me, I really want my child to wake up closer to 8 a.m. I say, well, what time do they go to bed? And they go to bed at 6 p.m. So really 12 hours is the most that we want to ask out of our children. Asking any more than that, can it happen? Yes, definitely. But it's going to be a very, very big expectation. So the first thing to do is think about what time do you actually want your child to wake up? What time is going to feel the best for you to feel like you got enough rest from the night, but also be realistic in your schedule. If you have to be at work at 8 a.m., having them wake up at 7:30 is just probably not going to work unless they come to work with you and everyone can get ready and out the door really fast. So think about what is an actual realistic time that our child can wake up, and then we count 12 hours backwards, and that is their bedtime. So first we have to set an expectation of what is actually feasible to ask of my child. And if they are over the age of 4 months old, then having a 12-hour night is not too much to ask. If they are a little bit closer to 3, really around 5 is when we start to see that shift back towards like 10, 11-hour nights. So if they're between like 4 months and really like 4 years old, we still have that expectation for a 12-hour night. It's just the daytime sleep looks a little bit different. So the second thing that we want to make sure is happening is that they aren't waking up hungry in those early morning hours. So we're going to look at the timing of like feeds in the evening and right before bedtime. So depending on if they are having a bottle or getting nursed right before bedtime, and if they're not, if they're having like a bedtime snack before they go to bed. So we can make sure that they aren't waking up early due to hunger. And that can genuinely, oh my goodness, be a concern for a lot of children, because going 12 hours, like that's pretty legit. That definitely could mean that they are hungry when they wake up. So we just want to make sure we're doing everything we can on the front end to make sure that we're giving them the best chance possible to sleep as long as they possibly can. So something to think about is if they are under 12 months and you are nursing or bottle feeding them, then we want to make sure that that's coming in the bedtime routine, ideally as close to the time before you put them into the crib as possible. But we also don't want it to become a sleep prep where you're feeding them to sleep. So there has to be a little bit of time in between when they actually finish feeding, have that nice full feed, read a book, listen to a song, and then go into the crib. If they're older than 12 months and we're transitioning away from bottles and nursing, then we want to think about doing a bedtime snack, a protein and a carb mixed together, like granola and Greek yogurt or crackers and cheese, something like that. Peanut butter and crackers is going to be a good combination to keep them fuller longer. So really thinking about how can we just make sure that they're eating really well and they're nice and full before we put them to bed, especially when we get to those toddler years, and sometimes they can be a little bit picky about eating. So we really want to kind of take inventory of what did they actually eat at dinner, and then have that help your decision of what to provide them as a snack before you start your bedtime routine. And then the last thing to think about is what to actually do when they wake up early in the morning. So what we actually don't want to do is engage with them, because you are most likely one of your children's favorite people. They could have multiple favorite people, but you are probably one of their favorites. So we want to make sure that when you go in, you know that it's probably gonna be over. Once they see you, it's gonna be very, very hard for them to try to get back to sleep on their own. They are going to automatically think that it's morning and think it's time to wake up. So as much as you can not engage, it's going to be easier to help them push that wake up till morning. We really want them to know it is still calm, it is still quiet, it is still dark. Even if you do have to go into the room, we're keeping the lights off, we're keeping the curtains closed, we're speaking very quietly, very minimally to them so they know that the purpose is still to either get back to sleep or to rest their body. If your child is a little bit older, then you can definitely, I love the hatch light. I love to tell families all about it and how to start to implement it. If your child is 2.5 or older, so they can start to sleep in and understand that this light means that it's morning, because morning is a very abstract concept. It's really hard to explain, like, when is morning? Sometimes it's when the sun comes up, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's storming in the morning and the sun doesn't come up. So it gets really confusing. So this light, the hatch light, really just gives a concrete example of when morning is. So if you want my free guide on exactly how to introduce the hatch light to get later mornings, all you have to do is comment like hatch light guide, and I will grab your email and send that directly to you. But if you know that early mornings are a problem and you are ready to solve them quickly, and when I say quickly, I mean like in the next 3 days, you can grab my early mornings course. It's less than 2 cups of coffee that you're gonna have to drink because you're waking up continuously early in the morning. So all you have to do is go to the description below. I'm gonna have that as the first link to grab that early morning course. Again, it's relatively cheap, but it's going to change your mornings in a very, very fast way and tell you exactly what to look for both at bedtime and in the morning in order to solve them immediately. And there is a bonus strategy in there that I guarantee you have never heard of and works so fast. So go to the link in the description for that, or comment hatch light guide if you want that guide and your child is over the age of 2.5. And I will see you in my next video.